All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the alaracanfieldshow, the awakentohappinessnow global series. Thank you so much for being here with us today. If you're new to me, new to my channel, if you're watching live on YouTube right now, or if you're watching later, please do subscribe so that you can watch all of the previous shows that we've done in the past, as well as all the future shows. And it is my deepest wish, desire, and intention to bring forward to you all these wonderful guest speakers who are here to share their wisdom, their teachings, their experiences, their activations, clearings, processes, etc., so that we can all not just thrive, but live a different reality than we've done in the past, right? So it is for us to actually awaken to happiness now, yes, right? But have more joy, have more peace, have more ease, and to start to create our reality from a place of empowerment, from a place of sovereignty, from our hearts. So I'm so excited that you are all here with me today. And today we have a new guest speaker on the show. So we have Natasa Stojanovic with us, and we're going to be talking about whale wisdom and ocean light, how to stay in flow in times of great change. And, you know, we are in a lot of change right now. So some of what we're going to discuss today includes why the magnificent whales are inviting us into more flow at this time of our evolution. We're going to talk about tools for more flow and clarity, in particular when times get chaotic. Why our dreams and our purpose are both important to our ascension. And Natasha will be sharing an ocean light language activation for more flow live on the call. She will also be taking live caller questions for those of you who are here on Zoom live with us. And so for those of you who don't know Natasha, because it is the first time that she's on our show, so just really quickly, a little bit about her. She is an intuitive soul leadership coach, an ocean light language channel, mother, and mentor. She's deeply connected to her ancient heritage of galactic ocean consciousness. Natasha helps heart-centered wayshowers, healers, leaders, and changemakers to embody their unique divine essence so they can fully live their heart's dreams and divine calling. Her unique approach combines her spiritual gifts of channeling, ocean light language, and whale and dolphin consciousness with trauma-informed mind-body healing and down-to-earth coaching. Her mission is to support humanity in awakening and co-creating new earth through expanding consciousness and activation, and activating our hearts and unlimited potential that is stored in our DNA. So we're so excited. I know I'm excited because I feel like everything that we're going to talk about today, I can deeply, deeply, deeply resonate with. I'm going through major change, major chaos, etc. And it's always so wonderful to have a new guest share their wisdom, their energies, their light. So please join me in welcoming Natasha to the show, since it is her first time. So Natasha, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. Happy to be here.
Natasha, because it's your first time here, can you just share with us a little bit about your journey as a healer, as someone who has gone through an awakening of sorts, as we all have, but just a little bit of your journey to where you are now?
Yeah, sure. To give you a little bit of background, I grew up completely landlocked. That's because we're talking about ocean. And I also grew up in an agnostic family. So my family did not talk about spirituality at all, but they were very interested in mysticism. And so I grew up kind of in that funny connection. And also what happened is when I was 12 years old, my father died. And that's actually when I, for the first time, started really diving more into, so what's really happening? What's going on? Who are we really? And I started reading books about near-death experiences, because when I was a child, actually, my multidimensionality was cut down. And fast forward, after finishing my studies, university, I was called back to the ocean. And I left to the Red Sea. Actually, the dolphins called me to the Red Sea because I'd seen a documentary and I wanted to experience that. But next thing happened, I started being a diving instructor and working as a diving instructor. And that's when I started experiencing really ocean healing in a bigger way. Because not only did I feel it by myself, for myself, but also I was witnessing it as I was working with people in the ocean, and with the ocean, I experienced a lot of healing. And so I went back to Switzerland, where I grew up, And I started studying coaching and healing modalities, like many of them. I don't want to bore you with that, but as most of us have. And what happened is that I started working in the corporate world as a leadership coach, as a team and personal development coach and facilitator. And I had a really good life. I had money. I didn't have to work much for it. I was traveling the world. So it all looked perfect. I had a relationship, a beautiful apartment. And I felt empty inside. I felt empty because in the corporate world, there was absolutely no space for spirituality, for like, energy work. And I had my little energy practice on the side. And I wouldn't talk about it because, hopefully they won't hear about that. And so the universe really, really threw me into my next step. And I experienced what people call the dark night of the soul. So everything in my life broke down: relationship, apartment, even the work, partly, like people I really trusted in turned out to be different. So it was like really when everything falls away, and almost everything, like perceived everything. And just as I was recovering and healing from that, I found out that I would be a single mother from day one. And so there was another deep dive for me. And fast forward, when my son was 3 years old, what I experienced was that I was really I had a lot of fatigue. I had a lot of infections. My body was not well at all. And I realized that I won't be able to, be a good mom for him anymore. And luckily, I was teaching burnout prevention and stress reduction. And so I knew what was going on for me. It was almost a burnout. And so I started healing. I knew how to heal. And in these situations, it's not just enough to release a little bit of stress. I knew I had to go deeper. I had to go into my patterns, which included perfectionism and my image of what a good mother is, and giving myself up and all of that. And so that's actually where the spiritual awakening started happening, because I remember the really lowest point in the turnaround, even though I was healing all these patterns, was when I was watching a TEDx talk from a woman called Lisa Rankin, and she's a doctor. And she was working with many different people and groups and societies. And what she said in that TEDx talk was that she started working with rich people who had an amazing lifestyle, healthy. They had their personal trainers, they were doing yoga, they were eating healthy, and they were just as sick as everybody else. And she really did not know how to help them, because she was on that, more on the functional medicine side. And she said, and at some point I started asking them, so if you were your own doctor, what would you prescribe? And people started saying things like, I would finally get divorced, or I would finally, take that course that I wanted to take, or I would finally travel the world, whatever it was for them. They knew exactly. And she started talking about how we have an inner pilot light. And that's when, I remember today, tears running down my face. And I was sitting there and I couldn't but cry for I don't know how long, because I realized, oh my gosh, I left to the ocean, the dolphins, the healing, all of that. I went back to Switzerland, not to stay here and work as a leadership coach. I went back in order to learn what I needed to learn, so I can incorporate these gifts that I bring with the ocean and healing and people and energy work. And so I decided I would follow that again. And that's when the whole spiritual awakening came in, and I woke to more of my spiritual gifts, heart opening, healing my body, really everything started working out, if you want to say it like that. And so today I do work with leaders, but I work with leaders of the new paradigm. So I tend to work with highly sensitive, empathic, wayshowers, coaches, healers, leaders of New Earth. And the gifts that I bring in are, as you said, it's like the ocean light codes, which are codes of freedom, of love, of abundance, of flow, in general, unity consciousness, right? and they come through me as light language, and I still incorporate other things. And the whales and the dolphins have started showing up. Like, yes, I do also retreats, physically being with whales and in the ocean, but they usually come in energetically, if you will, multidimensionally, to support the work that I'm doing. Yeah. And so right now, as you talked about the chaos and everything that we're in, or the changes that we're in and that we're sometimes experiencing as chaos, I took another big leap, because as I was following my guidance, I noticed that I do want to leave Switzerland. I want to live more by the ocean. And so our first step is that we're going traveling, my son and I. So I put everything in storage. I don't have have an address, but not an apartment anymore. And we're leaving to travel. And we're going to go to French Polynesia first, but it is a big leap into the unknown. We don't know how it's going to continue. And so I have gone through a lot of what we're all going through. And that's where I'm sharing a lot from as well. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you. And the thing is, I think when we make these big leaps and these big changes in our lives, it's like we don't have all the answers. We don't have all the steps. It's about that first step, and then trusting that the rest of the steps will show up when we need them to show up, right? So like, as everybody knows, I'm making a big change as well, and I only know the first step. After that, I don't know, no idea, right? So it's like, it's about trusting, and it's also about trusting your heart, your intentions, your, the gut feeling, the guidance that you're getting, trusting that, and trusting that it'll all work out. Somehow or other, it'll all work out. And having faith in that. So, when it comes to the whales and the dolphins and the oceans, I also love the ocean. I love whale sounds, dolphin sounds. I love all of that. It does something within me. It kind of like, it takes me to a whole new dimension, right? When I'm listening. And I'm a Pisces, so I'm a fish. So, water is very soothing for me, but it's also very empowering. It gives me energy. And I always say to my husband, it's like, I just want to go to the ocean. I just want to go to the ocean. If I could have anything, it would be living by the ocean. That's, or at least being able to see it every day, like just, or if not the ocean, at least a big river, a big lake. In Austria, the lakes are really small. So it's like a big lake. I'm used to big lakes, like in Canada, right? So that big lake, right? It does something, right? Just being in the presence of water changes you, I feel, for myself personally, right? So it gives me a lot of peace, clarity. It makes me feel more alive at the same time. It's really interesting. So I'm like, I'm going to try and go to Italy, go to the coast before we leave, if we can find the time. So let's talk about the whales and the dolphins and the ocean light language, and how they are, inviting us into more flow. Because right now, that is what we need, is to be in the flow, because we are going through so much change all, the past few years and continuing, and everything seems to be so intense, right? And so intense for me sometimes means I'm in my head, right? So there's a lot of chaotic energy in my head, right? So being in the flow with the help of the whales and dolphins can help us to align to who we are and where we're going at the same time, no?
Oh, yes, definitely. Yeah, that's what their main, support is, because that's the journey we're on. And as you were saying, like being by the ocean and immersed in the ocean, or just being able to see it, to connect with it. Also, if you cannot in a meditation or whatever, it will definitely help. And, like we are just starting to discover the sacredness of water. Scientists are still baffled. They cannot understand water. Water has properties, like I think 76 properties that are, they call it anomalies. Is that the word? Mm-hmm. Exactly. Because they cannot explain, right? No other fluid on Earth or in the cosmos that we know of has these properties. and they are amazingly powerful. And some scientists, like Nassim Haramein, he says, for instance, that water is the interface between the quantum field and the physical world. So if you see in indigenous cultures, sometimes water is looked upon as really source. For me, water is source, right? So it's really that interface. And so, yes, the whales and the dolphins are inviting us. They are absolutely aware that we're experiencing all these changes and taking big leaps in our lives, and also that the whole planet is in this big change. And the whales are galactic beings. They have moved through that we are moving through now, right, as a collective. And they really are supporting us into that unity consciousness. And they know that flow is actually an expression of unity consciousness. We'll get to that. I'll talk about that a little bit more. So they're aware that we're in that leap into the unknown, and that the unaligned for us is falling away. And that can be really painful or stressful, sometimes chaotic, as you said, right? So we're all experiencing changes in relationships. We're experiencing deep physical, mental, emotional healing right now as the old is falling away. There's fears that come up with all of these changes, but also in our own lives, like, how will I do? Will it work out? What if we start traveling and we don't find that place, or we don't get a visa, or if I need to go back, and what will I do? And all of that, as you're saying, the head comes in, right? And so they're really aware that we have, as wayshowers, we have to embody where we're going. And it was interesting how it came about for me is that I was about to share a workshop, and I was sure I was going to share about conscious creation, like how we envision things and feel grateful, and then as if it already happened, and I just tuned in, and the whales went like, you can share about conscious creation, and that's all great. But if you don't learn how to be in flow and have faith, it won't get you anywhere. And and it really is, if you think about it, because when we take these leaps, we need a lot of faith, of course. And also we can envision as much as we want. If we end up feeling stressed, there's nothing going to happen. We will stay in the fear-based decision-making, and we can't move out as long as we're in stress. We cannot really create in our highest alignment if we're not in flow. Yeah, so that's why they're inviting us really into more flow.
Yeah. And so what does it mean to be in flow? Just so that people have more clarity around that.
Actually, if you look into research, then flow is a state of being. Flow is a state where we have great joy, where we have a lot of energy, we're fully present, fully focused, we have absolute clarity of our decisions. So there's no, doubt, should I not? It's like when you're in flow, you know exactly what your next step is, right? And it's an interesting thing is that in a flow experience, we have this oneness experience. So we merge with all, and time starts to just dilute. It's like either we have the feeling that, like it was like so long, but it was a few seconds, or the other way around, right? Sometimes it's just time passes so quickly when you're in flow, and we're in that unity consciousness, we're experiencing oneness. So that's the state of flow. And flow is actually, by the way, the whales have shared also that everything that helps you get in unity consciousness and into a higher perspective, and we'll talk about perspective in a minute, will help you to be more in flow. Definitely. And so flow happens, basically, if you look into research, flow happens in that in-between space between stress and boredom. So if you look at how you experience a situation, how demanding you experience what's going on, whether it's a task that you're having, or whether it's a situation that you're in, your perception of how difficult that is, how possible that is, how much demand it has upon you. And then you look at how much resources do I think I have? So when you feel like the demand is really high and you have very little resources, emotional, mental, physical, whether that's money, whether that's time, whether that's friends, spiritual as well. If it's high demand, little resources, then you're in stress, right? Oh, this is overwhelming. I don't know how to do this. But if you feel like you have a lot of resources and there's actually no demand and you can sit there and watch TV all day, then you're bored, and flow happens in between. When there is a demand, like there's a little challenge in your life, but you have the resources. You just have to do a little bit, right? Like you have to get there. It's a little bit challenging. That's where flow can happen easiest in our lives. And so the basics that the whales have been sharing is also that flow is about perception. And if you look at that, there is no fixed demand. There is no fixed resources. It's always our perception. So the question becomes, how can we change that perception? If we feel like, oh, this is huge, or if you feel like I don't have the resources, and make it so that we have the opportunity to be in flow. That's like where we're playing. That's a framework of everything that I'm going to share about how we would get into flow, right?
And so for me, as you were speaking, flow kind of is like, you need to have some energy, movement, momentum, of some sort. You can't just be stagnant, right? So there should be some active energy at play, right? And at the same time, it's about, so it's a little bit of doing, it's being, and it's using your intention and trust and moving forward, right? So it's not like, okay, I have no idea what to do. I don't know what my next goal is or my next step is. I don't have the money for anything anyways, so I'm just not going to do anything. That's
exactly.
Not flow, right?
That's definitely not flow.
And so I'm a big doer, definitely, right? So I like to do, and whenever I find the energy is stuck for me in some ways, like nothing's happening, I do, right? So, and for me, that movement helps to create the flow, right? It helps to create the momentum, the energy moving in some way. So I'm not talking about just physical energy, but the emotional energy, mental energy, everything's starting to move, right? And then I find that sweet spot where it's like, oh yeah, it's all good, because I'm not stuck anymore between doing a lot and not doing anything, right? So it's kind of like I'm flowing with what is, but also, I have a little bit of a idea of what the future is that I want to create, etc., and having the trust and faith that it'll work out, because I'm talking to the universe, right? I'm talking to my guides. I'm in the energies. And, I have a little bit of a plan, just a little bit, right? Like we never know everything at once, right? So that for me, that flow is a feeling of trust and safety and moving forward. So it's not stagnant, if that makes any sense at all. I'm not sure, but that's what flow means to me,
Of course. Yeah. And we can learn from water. Water is in constant flow. Think of a river, right? A river is never stagnant. Yeah. And if it gets stagnant, it's not healthy anymore, right? If it's completely stagnant. So a river has to move. Water is constantly, evaporating, raining, moving. Yeah. Whether it's ocean movement, always have movement. And also what you've mentioned is like, if I go like, oh, I don't have money anyway, I don't know what to do. So that's again perception, right? I don't have the resources, so I can't do anything. You can't be in flow, right? So how can we change that perception if somebody is at that space and go like, okay, so, but what can I do? What would be a possible option? Or how can I change that? Or sometimes we need help for that, right?
Or sometimes it's just starting. It's like, okay, how can I just start?
Yeah. Right? And I'll give you an example. In my life, I wanted to leave Switzerland for a long, long time. And I kind of didn't, because I was in a place where I could go travel and come back, right? But I felt it wasn't aligned. I felt there was something missing. And I was sitting there and waiting, quote unquote. I was talking to the universe. I want to move, help, blah, 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 blah. But somehow I did not. And when I realized that my son is 11 and he'll be 13, 14 soon, when he won't be willing to go with his mom, he wants to stay with his friends, I was like, if I don't go now, I'll go never. Mm-hmm. And that was one little thing. So there was a perceptual shift, right, of where I'm at and what I can do. And then the other thing that happens is I had to close the door, because until then I was waiting for knowing where I would go. I thought like, I need to know first where I'm going, exactly what you mentioned, right? So I need to know exactly where I'm going before I can leave. And I realized that first step for me was I need to close one door so another one can open.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's exactly what you're talking about, right? So sometimes we just need to take a step, even if we don't know yet if it's the right step. Sometimes we have to wait because it's not in divine timing. But many times we have to take the first step so something can get out of stagnation and start moving. And then the universe can show us the next step.
Exactly. I always say, just take one step in any direction. Exactly. It doesn't matter what direction it is, any direction, and then you will get the awareness of what the next step is, because it's never a straight line, right? So so you take a step forward, then you take a step to the right, then you take a step back. It's like, oh, that wasn't quite right. Then a step to the left. Like it's never, but at least then the energy starts moving, right? Then you start to be in the flow instead of just being stuck in one spot like cement.
Exactly. And it's actually the first thing that I'm sharing, like I would like to share, so by the end of this call, how to get more into flow, and how to discern whether it's something that you're doing on your own or not, and how you can take your next step. And so the first thing is exactly what you said, like, how can we get into flow? Things that can do yourself is like that one step at a time. Just that was my first point, right? So we take that one step at a time. So if something is big, chunk it down, take a little step, even if it's a little baby step, just take that little baby step.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm definitely a one step at a time person. And sometimes it's like a bunch of baby steps until, but then other times I make big leaps, it's like, it's what's required in the moment, right? And sometimes we don't know, but if you don't know anything, at least take a baby step. So trust yourself, trust your guidance as well, right? So if you're getting the guidance to make that big leap, make the big leap. But if you're getting the guidance to, I just don't know, well, just take a baby step, right? So it's kind of like trusting yourself, but also trusting the universe. And so we're talking about faith and trust. And they're slightly similar. Their little nuances are different, but having trust in the universe, having faith in the universe is going to help you to take that first step, take that next step, whether it's small or big kind of thing, right?
Exactly. And as you mentioned, guidance, right? Sometimes we're in that state of being where we just cannot connect to our guidance. And that's also something that's happening. I've seen that in many people, where we just lost that connection because we get through all the changes and sometimes feels stressing or whatever happens, or we're thrown into a leap that we're not ready for, or we think we're not ready for. We always are. But we're in a state of being where we feel so distracted at the moment that it's really hard to connect to that guidance. So one of the things that you can do in order to move the energy, as you said, Alara, is, and that's something the whales have been sharing, is they said to me, just focusing on the specks of light, they called it. So they showed me all these little specks of light. And then they explained that means that during your day, you can create a lot of playfulness and joy, even if you're in a state where not everything is really fun, but you can create that by having the focus on these little specks of light in your day. So that might be just a stranger that passes you and has a little smile on the face. It can be that little child that asks you a question. It can be a dog that comes by, or a cat. It can be you see a bird, and just like having that focus on, oh my God, this is beautiful. I see a bird, right?
Yeah.
Even if it's this small, and just having that awareness and the focus, and then really appreciating. They said, like, really appreciate that, because you forget to appreciate many times.
I agree.
Small things that we take for granted, And just realizing them, even, oh, today the sun is shining, how amazing, thank you, I love the sun. Or if you love the rain, it's raining, right? Whatever it is, but whatever it is for you, you always find these little things in your life that you can be happy about, and just start focusing more on them. That's also something that can help you get into more flow. And then the next thing is that even if it's really stressful, we have to create stillness. I know you don't want to hear that. I know you've heard it 1,000 times from every speaker probably on this show, or almost every speaker on that show, but it is not a luxury. It is a must. Like the more we have going on, we need to keep our daily practices. We cannot suddenly start not keeping our daily practices. We have to regulate our nervous system. Think about that demand, right? If the demand is really high for us, how can I regulate my nervous system? So in general, I feel calm, I feel ready, I feel supported. And you cannot do that if you do not take the time to just ground, to get present, and to be also undisturbed, to have that alone time. Mm-hmm. Because only in alone time, you can connect to your guidance. And we really need that alone time. And also we need to learn nervous system regulation. If I'm talking to everybody here, right? If you don't know how to regulate your nervous system, please learn that. And there's also a free gift that you can access from me in this whole thing. It's called From Stress to Flow, the Ocean Light Activation. And people say that stress really leaves their body when they do that. And so that might be, or any other meditation from anybody else, like something that you resonate with, and just start trying and just do it regularly. Also, flow research has showed that if we don't create undisturbed time, right, we cannot get into flow, because I'm a single mother, as I said. So like I start doing something, and then it's, oh, mom here, oh, mom there. And then, okay, I have a little bit of time, I get into flow, and then there's the phone rings, right? We all know that. Yeah. So how can we set these boundaries? How can you set boundaries energetically and physically, that you can create that undisturbed space to, one, be with yourself, get into stillness and get your guidance, and two, to be able to do whatever your next step is. So you need to create the environment that enables you to have flow, because otherwise we can't get into flow if we don't have that time for ourselves.
I love that. I just want to share really quickly something that happened this morning, so like I meditate every morning, right? And so, it's a regular practice. On days when I'm really stressed out and really busy, I'll do 10 minutes. On other days, I'll do longer, right? So this morning, it's like, okay, I have a lot to do. There's so much going on. I'll do my timer for 10 minutes. And then, of course, as soon as I started, the dogs were going crazy. And I'm like, you know what? No. So I took the little one, put him on my lap. And so then the big one just sat down right beside me, but it's always the little one that's the troublemaker. And so, so I just put him on my lap and I said, you're staying here while I meditate, because this is not negotiable. I'm sitting down to meditate. So you're going to just sit in my lap and meditate with me. And then the big one just lay there as well. But sometimes, it's like you have to choose, right? So I could have just said, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to meditate today because these dogs are going crazy. Okay, fine. Let me just go do something else instead. It's like, no, this is my time to meditate. I'm going to sit down and meditate. Mm-hmm. And it was interesting because I had a new experience, which was interesting during the meditation. So I was like, that was interesting. That was different. But you won't know that if you don't actually take the time to sit, right? Yeah. And so I'm a big proponent of sitting for 10 minutes if you can, longer if you can, but I know how it is. So, but it's key. And then those moments of appreciation or gratitude. I mean, like I was busy working, right? And then Neo, the little one again, was barking. I'm like, oh my God, what do you want? And so then it's like, okay, then let me give you 5 minutes. So then I got off my computer and I went and played with them, with both of them, right? It wasn't even 5 minutes. It was only 2 minutes, because that's all they really needed was just 2 minutes of play. Mm-hmm. And then they were both, fine. But just that 2 minutes of play changed my energy, right? made them happy, changed the energy of the space. And, it was fun. I was like, okay, I'm like, that's it. That's all you wanted was just that 2 minutes of play. Okay, fine. So I was like, all right. But even that little bit of changing the energy vibration is going to help you to, again, be in the flow, stay in the flow, and also change the energy of the moment that you were in. Because maybe I was stressed out, right? In that moment, I was trying to, I was doing something and it's like, it wasn't working and everything, so it's like, then after that, everything started to flow again because I was able to change the energy, right? By just playing for a few minutes.
Yes, and how amazing, that you're mentioning play, because, play is such an amazing frequency shifter, right? And you, as you said, you shifted their energy, you shifted your own energy. And also the gratitude, that research shows that 5 minutes of gratitude will increase your probability to experience flow dramatically. Like really, I think they talked about 40 to 60%. So just 5 minutes of gratitude a day. And doing something like weekly, like 4 hours, where you feel flow, where you feel, flow, or if you don't know how to feel flow, maybe something that you can appreciate, whether that's and nature is like absolute 100%. So for instance, if you go for a hike in nature, or even dancing or playing with your dogs, as you're saying, or your children, or whatever that is that brings you joy and flow. And if you can do that, even if you have only 10 minutes, you can always find 10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And that creates a huge difference. And I wrote it down when you were talking about it. No, that's before. Okay, everything good. And so like, I'd like to share one more, which is something that I've encountered lately. And yesterday I was in a group call, and we talked about, it was in a group that I'm part of. And we talked about that feeling of I should do this, do that, right? So give yourself permission to take a break. And I know that so well. I'm like, especially now with moving and everything and traveling, and I need to organize and like 100,000 things, of course, plus homeschooling, plus working, right? And then I'm prone to that. And I know I need to create space. And just as you said today, so it's a very similar experience to me. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to share. Sorry, it came in when you're. I'll share the other one later. So when you're talking about that daily practice, just want to remind us all, and you're doing that amazing with playing with your dogs. It's just that, be flexible with that. We created such a stress in the spiritual community around our meditations, like, I need to have 10 minutes meditation, and I need to journal for 5 minutes, and I need to do this, and I need to do that. It became a must again.
Yeah.
So how can I tune in the morning, go like, okay, what do you need today? Right. And yeah, I have my thing, like my 2-3 minutes that's my have to, right? Because it just brings me into that space. But also like today, it was a crazy day, and I had an appointment and everything was cut short. But then I took that time just later in the day, right? And I took half an hour, actually almost an hour. We went to the lake, we went for a swim, and I sat there. My son was doing something else, and I was just sitting there and being. And so be flexible with it, right? Don't stress yourself out. And how can you make it a little bit more playful, a little bit more fun, right?
Yeah.
And so back to the break, just give yourself permission to have a break, it's okay. It's okay. And life is here to be lived. And I've just been reminded this summer, I witnessed something that where somebody died. And it just reminded me of how precious our life here on earth is. Yeah, we love the multidimensionality, but we are gifted this life, this experience, smelling, feeling, seeing, being with each other, smiling, laughing, playing, experiencing also the other side, just embracing it all. And so it's okay if your to-do list stays the same till tomorrow. The world is still turning. Not every day, but sometimes, no problem. Right?
Yeah, I agree. Totally. It's about being kind to yourself, right?
Yes.
Being kind to yourself, because you know, the more that we can be kind to ourselves, the easier it will be for us to be in the flow as well, right? And it's easier then for the guides to connect with us when we're being kind to ourselves. I mean, when we're being hard on ourselves, which I can sometimes be, but when we're being hard on ourselves, we can't hear the guides as well. Like, you know, we're talking about not being connected, and I have to say, we're always connected, but sometimes our perception is off and we think that we're not, right? But
Exactly.
we're always connected.
Yeah.
We feel that sometimes we're not, and that feeling of not is because of we're in our heads too much, we're beating ourselves up, we're negative, whatever happens to be, right? I had an interesting thought. I don't know if I'm going to share it. It's way too personal. So anyways, but I had a really wonderful awareness this week about something that was so key and so important for me, that I think I will never have suicidal thoughts again, because I have a tendency to have suicidal thoughts, etc., suicidal ideation, etc. But I had an awareness today or this week, and I'm like, yeah, that's not going to happen again. So, you know, when we are able to be in the flow, we're able to do our practice, we're able to appreciate, be grateful, connect to the divine, or connect to our guides more and more and more. Some of those negative patterns and thinking, etc., start to fall away a little bit and give you more of the wisdom that you need to keep being in that flow state, to keep moving forward. Thank you so much, Randy. Love you too. You know, but it's a struggle for a lot of people, to be honest, to stay positive, to stay in the flow, to stay feeling like they're connected, right? It's a struggle from time to time. So it's about, you know, how can we be kinder to ourselves? So, because the more that we are kind to ourselves and honor ourselves, you know, the more that we can be in the flow and receive the guidance from, you know, we're talking about, you know, our own guides and source, but we're also talking about like the whales and the dolphins. If you want to, I mean, I'm just going to put this out there. If you want to be connected to the whales and the dolphins, you just have to ask. You just have to say, hey, you know, I'd like to connect with you, and then be in that state, be in that flow state and connect with them. It's not more difficult than that, I don't think. You know, at the heart level, soul level, right?
Yes, definitely.
Right? So, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, definitely. Just like you connect to your angels, because it's just like you connect to any of your guides. Like, we're all one. You know, it's all parts of who we are. And yes, have the intention and don't give up if you don't feel, as you're pointing out very well, if you don't feel connected at the first time, just as it took you time to get connected to anything, right? We also, when we meet people, it takes a while to feel connected, right? So there's not much of a difference. Sometimes it's immediate, and for some of you it will be immediate, and for some of you it won't, but it's okay. Right? We all have our journey. Each one is just as valuable. And I love that you mentioned the part of the negative thoughts, because I want to make that clear. Flow is not just about, always being positive. When we really, and that's the deeper part and the deeper work, sometimes changing a perception needs deeper inner work. And, sorry, I need a sip of water.
Yeah, and thank you everybody for your kind words. Like I said, I didn't want to go into anything too personal, but thank you. I appreciate you all and love you. Thank you.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. And you know, it's again, if you learn from water, if you just as a metaphor, well, water embraces every rock on its way. You know, it's not fighting the rock. And as you said, I know that so well. I mean, I never had suicidal thoughts. I had this phase of depression that was luckily only 4 months, but it was hard. But what's happening for me is I have a lot of this harshness sometimes to myself too. Like, you know, that self-judgment. And I had to learn to distinguish when I'm in self-judgment. And it's not about pushing that self-judgment away. And I know you know that, Laura,
Mm-hmm.
because the only way, and you're talking about kindness, it's easier to think about kindness than self-love. That ultimately it is that compassion that we can give to ourselves, no matter what thoughts we have, no matter how we are, because that's where the true healing happens. And sometimes being present means being present with that which is in the moment. And sometimes that means I don't feel well. And sometimes it feels like I have negative thoughts. And can I love myself with all of that? Can I appreciate myself with all of that? Can I say it's okay to feel that? It's okay to think that, and give myself permission to be where I am? That's the quickest way into flow, because as long as we're in resistance, we cannot move on. And, you know, we have old wounds that create all of these patterns. We've all have our upbringing. We all had our trauma. We all had our wounding. But that's ancestral, generational. And, you know, I'll give you an example. I worked with somebody who, she's an author, beautiful, beautiful, awake soul. And she's all very energetic and positive and everything. And she came to me and she said, like, she wanted to work actually on, she thought she had money blocks, but she said, like, I'm actually envisioning everything. And I trust the universe. So I don't know if there's anything, but maybe you can check. And so we started talking, and we found, we were guided to a place where she had an experience, a wounding from earlier on in her life. And when we moved into that, when we started clearing that with the ocean light language and the other work, she just felt calm by the end of the session. But 2 days later, she told me, I can't believe it. Like, suddenly I'm invited to talk about my book, and there's like people like inviting me to here, and I won a prize and stuff like that. So, you know, sometimes we feel like, oh, nothing is happening. Nobody's inviting me. My book is not getting out there. But actually, again, to change that perception sometimes takes deeper work.
For sure.
And that wounding created such a fear in her, had created such a fear in her, that this might happen again if she allows herself to step up with her gifts, right? And so that's just one example of how we can, you know, how inner work is helpful, or if we have beliefs or we have blind spots. So it's really important to have somebody who will hold the space for us, who will hold us in the highest perception, the highest expression, and see us for who we are. And we all, and also know, and I'll say that here because you're so open, Alara, and I love that. And for me too, you know, like when I feel like, hey, this is something that's going on for such a long time, and with all of my gifts, I still, or my knowing, or whatever you want to call it, and calling for help and talking to the universe, and I still can't move on with that, I'm going to get help. And it's okay. You know, sometimes I want to say, like, that will help us move into flow as well, right? The more we clear of these energies that are not really ours, not who we truly are, and we align more with the truth of who we are, the easier we'll be in flow, because we're more in unity consciousness. And just getting that help and allowing yourself to get help if you need to.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
A big part. And I think it's also okay to say that sometimes. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I've had a lot of support, to be honest, for myself over the years, since I was like 21, 22, a lot of support, you know, in different realms, like, you know, coaching, counseling. And then of course, when energy work started, like all the energy work, oh my goodness, so much. And it's like, sometimes we can't always do it on our own, right? And that's why the support is necessary, because we don't see, like you said, those blind spots, right? We just don't see them. And not just that, sometimes we just need that space to be held, you know, for that for whatever that issue is. We just need to be accepted in that space, because we tend to judge ourselves a lot and blame ourselves, or we blame somebody else. It doesn't really matter. Blame is blame, but it's a negative energy, or heavy, dense energy anyways, right? So sometimes we need that support to be held in that space. And it's just basically it's like, it's okay. You're okay. regardless of what you went through, whether it's this lifetime, previous lifetime, whether it's ancestral, it doesn't matter at the moment. The key is right now what you're experiencing.
Exactly.
And then, so being held in that safe space, and then allowing the unraveling to happen, right? So definitely, I'm a strong proponent of getting support when you need it, but I will always, of course, work on myself first for a long time before I reach out for support.
Yes, we're so used to doing it all by yourself.
Of course,
right?
I can do
I'm
it.
So
I
the
have
same.
all the tools.
I'm so the same.
Exactly. But then, at some point, I just want to say really quickly before we forget, we are going to be taking some live caller questions, and we are going to be doing a process soon later, an ocean light language activation. So please stay tuned. I know we're just like talking up a storm and just loving the conversation so much, because there's so much here to unpack. But I just wanted to say we are going to be taking some, we might go obviously a little bit longer today, it looks like, but that's okay. So let's talk a little bit about our dreams and our purposes and how they're important to ascension. And what's the difference between dream and purpose and calling and all that stuff?
Yeah. So actually, there is no difference in a way. On one level, there's no difference, right? Because so it was really interesting that when I had that workshop about flow, the whales came in, and when I did the transmission, they started speaking, and they said, the first sentence, I didn't want to bring it through. I was like, no, I'm not going to say that. And they were like repeating it and shutting up. And I was like, okay, if I don't say it, nothing will happen. So I did share. And what they were starting with is many of you need to speak their truth more fully. And then they connected speaking the truth with our dreams and our calling, following that, because there is no difference. As we follow our heart, this is our guidance. And if we have dreams in our hearts, they're there for a reason. And if you think about, give you my example that I shared in the very beginning, right? I love dolphins, I love whales, I love the ocean, but I had no idea that if somebody would have told me that one day I would bring through messages from whales and dolphins and work with healing and all of that, ocean light codes, I would go like, who are you? Like, what? You're crazy, right? No, never me. Right. So it's all one. It's just a different expression of our blueprint, of our highest expression, of our highest dreams, our highest calling. It's just all one expression of our uniqueness, our unique energy blueprint.
Yeah, absolutely. And so whatever it is that you're being called to do from your heart is right for you. Right. So I always, qualify that by, is it your mind or is it your heart that is wanting this, right? And, where are you coming from with this desire, right? Is it from fear? Is it from expansion? What is it? And that way you'll know, whether it's just an old mind belief or if it's truly a calling from your heart. All right. We're going to take some questions. Let's take some questions and then we'll go from there. Sure. Is that okay?
Yeah, beautiful. Love to.
So iPhone, you want to unmute yourself? The iPhone that has their hand raised, in case there's more than one. The iPhone that has their hand raised, you want to unmute yourself? Otherwise, we're going to go to the next person. All right, we're going to go to Linda. Linda, you want to unmute yourself?
Sure. No problem. Okay. Yeah. Hi, Natasha.
Hi, Linda. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, you met me before. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt anything. My question is, what do the whales and dolphins say about people who have dementia? How would they help to resolve that kind of situation? I have a friend who's got it really badly and is really in decline. And I have tried everything I can to help. And so far, nutrition's not working, oils aren't working. I don't know if he's on the decline and he just can't come out of it.
I understand. The whales and the dolphins, the whales are really inviting us always into that multidimensional perspective. That's what they share with me a lot. And they're saying that dementia, for the person that's experiencing it is not as much, I won't say problem, but I'm looking for a bit of English is not my first language, so excuse me, but yeah, that's why I said nice to meet you, nice to see you. But as it is for the people around, right? And so what came through immediately as you said that was first that, and then the second sentence was like, what support do you need so you can feel aligned and you can feel good, even though what's happening with him is not that which you would love, or that person is not what you would love to see. So they're inviting actually you to be in a more neutral place. And I know that's hard.
It is.
It's not an expectation at all, but it's just an awareness that and they're saying maybe it helps you to know that for that person, it is not, for your friend, it is not as much terrible in his experience as it is for you.
Okay, one more question. Why are the dolphins and the whales leaving? Why are they, banking themselves?
You mean
Breaching,
the breaching and all of that? Yeah, I asked them that one time and they said something very similar. They actually said, look, you need to think of us as the multidimensional beings that we are. We can help you as humanity from wherever we are, whether we're in a physical existence or not. And that also they shared also that, sometimes like everything that's happening in our world, like the earth, with all the flooding and everything that's going on, sometimes things have to happen in order for humanity to awaken. And it's just part of the process that the old is falling apart. And even though it breaks our heart to watch that from a human perspective, and that's also part of what we need to take care of, right? But those souls, they're eternal, just like ours. And it's like as if they're saying, like, we're volunteering, right? We're volunteering with that because more people will awaken. And the way that we are behaving with our planet as humanity now is just creating that, of course, as well. So that's just like both levels are happening, right?
Yeah. Thank you.
Welcome.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Linda.
Thank you, Alara.
There's a comment in the chat that might be helpful for you, okay? All right, so iPhone said, sorry, I was actually hearing you, but I was trying to unmute my phone. Can you unmute your phone now, iPhone? Yes.
Yes, hi, can you hear me now?
Yes, yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, great. It was such an easy instruction, but I just missed it.
No worries.
Yes, thank you so much. Oh, well, so my question is about, I know that you're going to do something on the heart, that like the flow. And, but I think there's something going on where the connection with that I usually have, which is like sort of more of a camaraderie with others, like relationships and stuff. I used to have that, but now I think I'm just like pulling back, and I feel like I could, be more social and, something like that. And also has to do with maybe kind of what's going on with the emotions, like the nerves. So the nerves and the heart might be connected. So I'm wondering if there's anything that you could see that you could let me know of.
Mm-hmm. Do you miss at the moment, not in general, do you miss being more connected?
Yeah, well, I'm a fish, so I could be one or the other, but somehow I feel like I could be more right now. I think I want to be able to go out there and do stuff and not just be in my own company alone.
So, like what you're saying about the nerves, not physically. What I'm saying now is not related to your physical nerves. So I'm not talking about anything like that, but our nerves, with all of the shifts that are going on right now, there's so much light coming into the planet and onto the planet and for us, and so much upgrading that our bodies sometimes need to catch up. And it feels like your nervous system needs a bit of a reset. And so you need some more alone time. So what if that is okay right now? What if it won't stay like that? And also, you know, like we can hold only as much light as our nervous system can hold.
Mm.
So I don't know how you feel. You don't give me the impression that you are, you know, like very, very stressed or something. It is more that it feels like your body needs some time to just upgrade, to integrate. And so may I ask you, how does that happen, that you are more alone? Do you choose to be alone, or are you thrown into isolation? Do you feel
Yeah,
isolated or
yeah,
just alone?
I feel that way. I kind of feel like I don't have a choice right now. I think just the social atmosphere is kind of like muted, and I feel like I was not that. I used to be like bubbly and talkative, and so just the atmosphere, just the location, just that's that's the probable cause.
So what needs to align for you?
Oh, I
What is
think
not aligned?
a place, a different location, probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hear,
You know
I
it.
hear
You
you.
know it exactly, right? You just
I hear
needed some
you.
confirmation, I feel.
I hear it. It's not
Yes.
as easy as that. It's good
It's
to
not.
say it. It's you
Yeah.
could say it, you could see it, you could know it, but it
Yeah, I know. And give
actualizing is
yourself the
the word.
time. Sorry?
Making it a reality is what is needed at this point.
Yes. Yes. And so think of the baby steps, right?
Yeah.
It's not like you don't have to move right now. What could be a first step?
Yeah.
Right. And also starting to dream. Envision that. Now here the envisioning does come in. Envision that you feel connected, where like not related to a certain place. Just envision that you're in a community, in a supportive community, whatever you wish for. You know, you have these friends, you're outgoing. See yourself and feel yourself bubbly again. Just connect with that feeling. You had it. You know how to connect it, and do that every day in your meditation and see what's starting to develop. And
Okay.
here. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Good.
Does sound good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll do that. The imaging. Yeah, I'll start again. Thank you.
Welcome.
Awesome.
Thank
Thank
you,
you. And so that
Laura.
was, thank you. And that was for everybody too. Like if anybody else is feeling disconnected or not as connected to people, places, things, right? Take that first step. And that first step could be the envisioning, but then I would say then take another step, a physical step too. So the envisioning energy work is great. You also got, because we are still in a physical reality, you still got to take a physical first step, baby step of some sort. Okay.
Yes, yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And
Thank
envisioning
you.
will help you to take that first step as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you will
definitely.
feel it. It's like, oh no. Yeah.
Good. Awesome. Let us know.
Yes, I certainly will. Thank you.
Good. Awesome. Thank you. All right, we're going to go to Destiny and then Sarah.
Hi, Alara.
Hello.
Hi, Natasha.
Hi, Destiny.
Oh, I have dolphin and whale guides, and I'm wondering right now if they have a message for me, because I'm going through, it's like I'm clearing out certain patterns, and then other things are trying to create patterns. So I'm like pattern after pattern after, and I'm just, trying to get through this, and I could use some inspiration.
Mm-hmm. So when you say patterns, can you just tell me what you mean?
It's like it's almost like well, I don't even know if you could consider this a pattern. I'm not sure what it is. I keep getting what feels like my mind is going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's saying all this stuff, and it's like setting me up for all this negativity and untruth, and I just don't want to be in this place doing this anymore.
Mhm. Okay. So it's about taking your power back. You're giving your power away. You're giving your power away to that mind, to what it's setting you up, right? So it's not. So what can you do to come back to your heart and to your belly, to your body? Are you doing something regularly?
I am, but then it's like the minute I start getting where I'm feeling confident within myself, then I got that thing going on, this overactive energy. And I don't even honestly believe that. I don't want to give my power away, but I don't believe that all of that is mine, because why
It's
would
not.
I do? It's not. No, I know it's not, actually. I know it's not, because I've cleared it out and I didn't feel like this.
Okay. So you know what? So take a deep breath and relax your body. First of all, relax your body. I believe, and while I'm talking, you can just keep relaxing your shoulders, whatever. You know, we cannot ground in our body if we're not relaxed. So here's one thing. First of all, have the intention that all this be cleared when we do the group process. Okay. And also, yeah, the whales, wait a second, I just need to check that. It's really interesting. They're coming in. They'll be supporting the clearing. They're coming in and they're just like, maybe you can feel it already. They're starting to work the energy already for you. That's interesting. And also, yeah, they're also inviting you into more love for yourself. It's like to get out of that fight. You know, it's like, it feels like you're fighting that. And as you're fighting that, you're losing energy and losing energy and losing energy. Does that feel, does that resonate?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, just take a breath. It's okay. Yeah. So it literally is standing in your power. And that happens first. The first step is really loving yourself and getting out of the fear of that and going like, it's okay. Not trying to fight it, but just witness it. Okay. From your heart space, not from your head space. And then allowing the whales to work. Just let me check if they have something else. Yeah, there will be a heart opening also on the activation. So let us know in the chat how you're feeling afterwards, okay? Are you okay to move on?
I'm going to move on. Yeah.
Right now, yeah. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
so stay tuned for the activation, Destiny,
yeah.
okay?
And let us know in the chat how it shifted, like what happened for you, okay?
There's so much heaviness and density.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
I literally
yeah.
feel nauseous.
Yeah. And I would suggest whether you want to choose with me or someone else, but I would suggest to get help for that. It's not something we can do in a 2-minute thing. Okay. But let us know how you're feeling after the activation. Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Destiny.
Welcome.
Thank you,
Beautiful.
Alara. Thank you, Natasha.
All right, Sarah, we're gonna go to Sarah.
Hello.
Hi, Sarah.
Yeah, for once I put the arrow near the unmute button so I wouldn't have to find it. I wrote in the chat and I could just read what is there rather than expound or tell any stories. I was in a serious accident, just had the 6-month anniversary, and I didn't get any help from my community. And I'm wondering why, and I was alone for 2 months of it. And 2 people have had similar kinds of things. And, it's gone out, we need to do a phone tree, and here's a sign up list as to who's going to do food and when you're going to visit. And I had one person, and of this group, come by and bring me some soup 3 or 4 months ago, and that was it. I am wondering why I was supposed to go through this alone. My partner wasn't here, my children weren't here. So I'm curious about that. I don't want to fault them for something that I set up or needed.
Can you explain that last sentence again to me? What do you mean by that? I don't want to fault them because they didn't come and visit you. Do I understand you correctly? That you don't want to fault your family because they didn't come to support you? Is
Well,
that
it
what you're
wasn't-
saying?
My kids live in Israel, so they were here as much as they could be. No, my community, who is now setting up to assist somebody else who just had a similar problem, but not nearly as severe, did not set up meals for me. And it's a Jewish thing called Bikor Cholim, taking care of the sick. And nobody did that. And I'm part of 2 different communities. So, and none of them did. And nobody, I was brought 2 bowls of soup in 6 months. So I'm wondering why I needed to go through that alone. I do spend most of my time alone, which is fine with me. But so I'm just wondering why I had to struggle, like being alone in my house and not being able to walk and not being able to fix food, but having to take care of myself. And the medical system coded me for a broken wrist instead of a full hip replacement. And they didn't come forward to help me because evidently it's something I needed to go through alone, and I don't understand why.
I think you won't like my answer.
Okay.
How, like, what if it didn't matter why? When we think about the why did this happen to me? Why did I have to go through that? It keeps us in the loop of what happened. It keeps us in the loop of the bad feelings. And so I would pose the question to you is, what do you need in order to heal the feelings and emotions that are tied to that experience? And or how can you focus on the gratitude that you're okay and what else is going on in your life and look forward? Not saying that we don't heal. I said, like, how can you heal? And also, how can you raise your vibration and look forward? And how can you create community that will be there for you in the future?
Well, I resigned from one of the groups and after 45 years, and I'm not trying to fault them. Everything happens for a reason. If this is the experience that I called in, I'm wondering what strength I created or what understanding I created from having to, crawl around my house on my hands and knees and, try to deal with stuff. I'm assuming that I created this experience. I'm not feeling anger. I've let it go. I was just curious as to why I would have called in the experience to make it as difficult as possible.
I would say that, like, part of it is that it gave you amazing strength to know that you're capable to look after yourself, even against all odds. And I would like to ask you, what else? What other strengths did you gain out of that? Tune into your heart for a moment and just allow yourself to find that answer, because the main answer is really like you had that strength. But again, it's not, you can tune into your heart and find your strengths that came out of that experience. And then what are you going to do with this once you know?
I'm not sure. I don't need to take more time. This is not the first time I've been severely injured and not had help.
Okay, so in that case, I would go into what created all of that for you, because that's where the healing needs to happen, right?
Well, I think that I, like others, don't necessarily want to be here. And so, I don't know.
And so if it's that, what kind of healing, what kind of support do you need in order to release that, in order to transmute that?
Yeah,
Because you came here for a reason.
I know.
And you
I-
chose to come here for a reason.
I know, and I'll keep walking forward because I'm going to finish whatever it is. But
Yeah.
it's just
But I would suggest, look, when I look into your field, there's a bit of a, like a, it looks like, when we have this piece of wool and then the cat starts playing with it and it gets all crumbled up and down. So it's really a deeper issue. And I would really suggest also, like, I don't want to make you feel like, oh, I gave you the answer and then you start from the beginning. I would go a bit deeper with that. It's that deeper inner work that I've been mentioning from
Yes, I
from
think
what I'm getting.
all of these accidents and injuries and abandonment things are all one big, I was going to say ball of wax, but we'll say ball of yarn.
Mhm.
And, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. All right, we're gonna go to Anita, and then that's it. We can't take any more questions because we have to move forward and to do the activation, talk about the special offer. Go ahead, Anita.
Hi, Alara, Natasha. I just want to say it's a beautiful and genuine conversation you're both having on really, let's just say, topics that a lot of us go through, and really appreciate that. Natasha, I wanted to ask you, I've been feeling like, I guess the past few months, I've been feeling really drawn to going on whale watching cruises and just feeling like I want to see humpback whales and just listening to, the whale sounds and all that. So I'm just wondering if the whales have a message for me.
Oh, so beautiful. You know that I'm just preparing for a whale retreat, swimming with humpback whales. So that's why I was smiling. Yeah, so let me see. Oh, they're coming in for you. They're literally like coming, like they're behind you. They're creating a semicircle behind you. And they want to tell you that, they are calling you. Literally, and they want to tell you that it's not a coincidence that you feel drawn to them, to really encourage you to follow that. You will feel the right moment and the right people to go and connect if that's your next step, but to really follow that light. Also, there might you have a whale connection. Like whether that's, do you resonate with Lemuria? You heard of Lemuria?
Yeah, and not so much Lemuria. I mean, Atlantis. But I'm not sure how much I was in Lemuria or not. I know I was in Atlantis, but I do a lot of energy work, a lot of clearing work, I've been doing that at a very deep level. But I mean, do I have a connection with Lemuria? I know my daughter does, but
so maybe it's your daughter that I'm feeling, but it was like there was like something. And usually, if for everybody, if the whales come in strongly for you, if you're so being called in your heart to the whales, to clear ocean, like high vibrational ocean places, you have Lemurian, Atlantean, Mintakan, Syrian connections, like something around there. Like that's that. Where your heart is connected to your unity consciousness. So it's not a coincidence, and they want to encourage you to follow that, and you will find your I don't want to say greater purpose. It sounds like, you don't have a great purpose. We always have the same great purpose, but you will find your next steps on your path of evolution by following that. Yes.
I saw the word passion as you were talking. Find that passion. I was just seeing the word. But I just realized I have a humpback whale painting I just bought at a fair. It's just across. You can't see it. It's on the other side of the computer. It was just a beautiful painting, just beautiful. And it's a humpback whale just jumping out, and you can see the stars, and it's like you see the ocean, but the stars, and it's So they're just
Beautiful.
that's beautiful.
So beautiful. And just one last thing. No, where is it? The bird flies away. I just wanted to say that. Humpback whales. Humpback whales are, the whales are just like we know from the angels, like angels have different kind of roles for us. And so the humpback whales are here, the same with the whales. So the humpback whales are very much that gentleness, that self-love, supporting self-love, and heart opener. They're just like, they're such gentle heart openers. Blue whales open hearts as well, but in a different way. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So enjoy that. Enjoy your passion and follow it.
Thank you so much, Nasha. Thank you.
Welcome.
Awesome. Thank you, Anita. And everyone's loving the paintings behind you, all the pictures behind you. They love them.
Oh yeah, there's amazing.
Yeah, you can see all the energy painting. There's an artist called Julia, the energy artist, and I have many more. I just don't have the space for them all around.
I can imagine. No, beautiful.
I have crystals. I have all kinds of stuff going on. Mermaid statues. I got all kinds of stuff.
Oh, nice.
Lotuses. Awesome. I got all. Yeah, it's a really nice. I feel good.
Good. Awesome. Good.
Thank you.
Well, keep connecting with the whales and the dolphins, and then see, where you go from that.
Okay. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. So I just want to quickly, we're going to do the activation in just a minute, but I wanted to take a moment and talk about the special offer. I know we're going late today, but it was such a wonderful conversation. What can you do? It happens, 1 second. I'm going to share my screen.
Thank you for not saying I'm talking too much.
No.
I'm joking.
No. All right. So you should be able to see my screen now. Yep. So in Natasha's package, we have a 60-minute one-on-one divine blueprint alignment session, plus a bonus gratitude, heart coherence meditation with light language, and a bonus audio recording of 6 tips to calm an overactive mind, all for $144. Payment plan is available. And of course, if you're an Inner Circle member, please don't forget to use your gift code. And the value of this package is normally $333. So it's quite a discount. I don't like the word discount, but quite a deal for you. So Natasha, you want to talk a little bit about what the 60-minute session would look like for people?
Yes, on the 60-minute session, actually, we connect, and you can come with whatever you would like help with, right? It's a one-on-one session just for you. And then what we'll do is we'll dive into deeper levels. And then depending on what it is, that's how we'll continue to work. I'll be guided. I'm intuitive in how I work. Of course, there's always an ocean light activation because it just flows through me. That's the main thing how I work. And it could be like, it's really hard to explain it, because what happens is, like, when we're out of alignment, so I have like the main 3 steps that we're going through is that we're identifying, not even analyzing anything. So that's not the way I work. And so what the light language does, and the work that I do, is that we transmute that which is not aligned, and then we reactivate your DNA on the next level. So you have that next step of where we're going. So we are going to the root as much as we can in one session. Of course, we're going to the root to transmute that which is not aligned into the highest expression, into love. And a lot of that is what we talked about with Alara before, is like that compassion for self, and working with these parts that are in resistance, so they can all feel embraced and loved. And from there, the healing can happen in the transmutation. And then the ocean light language just activates your DNA to the next level of your expression. Yeah. And then we look into integration. We actually, sorry, Alara, we also look into integration. So how can you integrate all of that into your daily life? So what is your next step, as we talked about on the call, right? That little baby step or the little bigger step. So what's your next step that you're going to take?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's 60 minutes of one-on-one with Natasha. And then there's the bonus gratitude, heart coherence meditation with ocean light language infusion.
Yeah, that's I think it's around 20 minutes, heart coherence meditation, where we go into opening our heart, and then the light language comes in to make it even stronger. And it's just a beautiful meditation where you'll be in gratitude. So I'll lead you into gratitude. So it's supportive for that. And gratitude supports our flow, as we know, right?
And then the 6 tips to calm an overactive mind audio.
Yeah, that's an audio recording. And so as I talked on the call, like sometimes we're so like stressed or so distracted that it's really, really tough to calm our mind enough that we even could meditate. And so I'm sharing ways, it's I think 6 ways how you can calm your active mind.
Mhm.
And so you can really be present and find that stillness so you can connect to your higher guidance and your inner knowing.
Absolutely. So all that is available for $144. Like I said, payment plan is available. And of course, if you're an Inner Circle member, please use your gift code. There are some wonderful testimonials from people who have worked with Natasha. So please check those out as well on the special offer page. They're all there. Check them out. And yeah, so again, 60-minute one-on-one divine blueprint alignment session and 2 bonuses for $144. Please do take advantage of this because it's going to help you to move, not just move into flow, but to heal, move into flow, and then help you to take the next step. So all that and more. All right, we're going to go to the activation because I know people are waiting anxiously for that. Why? So hold on, let's see if there's any questions. Why is this behind? I don't know what that means. Okay, so Natasha, do you want to do the activation? Because we're
Yes, I
all
do.
waiting anxiously. I love the whales and dolphins, and I love light language, and it's always so very expansive. So I'm just going to suggest to everyone to have some water handy so you can have it right after.
Exactly. Thank you for saying that. Okay, so for those who haven't heard light language, it's not something you understand with your mind. So just tune into your heart, into your body, and allow your higher being to choose for you. It's also with the intention that it's in your highest good and in the highest good of all. So your higher being chooses what comes in. So you can just relax into that. So I suggest that if you like that, I love to put my hands on my heart. And so take a few deep cleansing breaths and just start relaxing your body, and just with your awareness, just move into your heart. You can also imagine having an escalator, and it starts in your head, up in your head, and it moves down through all of your head and down through your throat and all the way into your heart. And just keeping your awareness in your heart, imagine you were breathing in and out as if breathing through your heart space, your energetic heart in the middle of your chest. Let's make the intention collectively that this will be transmuted here, that which will be shared here is in the highest good of everyone here, each other, and all that is. And we'll just take a moment to clear the fields. Yaranna shua kakirana kututo yarana nashutu. Isakututua, 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 shukata riana kutu, shukutu riana kata, isakututu, eana kutu, ushkata, eana kututu. Chuakatata, iakuku, shukutu, iakuku, irana katutu, shtakitea. Yana katutu kutarana katashi sikta arana katutu arana katu urana katatayana. Eya kukureyane. Eya heko kuraya e suyaya kuye. And moving back into your heart, if you've left, just stay in your heart space with your awareness. And connecting to the light in your heart, just very deep in your heart. Just the intention is enough. Connecting to Source, connecting to Mother Earth. Yeshua rananakututua, isakatutua rana, irakatutua rana, and allowing the light of yourself, the light of your higher self, the light of your multidimensional being to expand into all of your body, every cell, every atom, every particle, and beyond into your field. All of who you are lighting up now with the light of Source that you are. Siarana shuaka kiarana kototo, isakototoarana, isakototoarana, iarana koto, shakatayana kotototo. Ia kokuyana katata, ia shukukuyana kata, esakotutu, iarana nakoteana. Eya kokuyana katea, orana katatayana, ushakatia, iakoto, iakote, iakoto, iakote, iarana kototoa. Allowing your heart space to expand into all that is. Siaranna shua keya kaya nakatotoya. Eya katotoya nakata eshkututuya nakata tashkututura nakataya nanana. Iya sukutoto ana. Iya sukuteyarana. O shakate. Eya ranakototo. Aya. Ya kokoko hey hoko Aya ya hoko aya ko he urarana no he urarana no he urarana no he ya hoko ya he ya ho ako he ya he uranana na ya he ora na 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 ya he ora na na he ya So the whales are inviting us into flow by accepting what is. Just like the ocean has waves and surfers ride these waves, or a boat that just moves up and down with the waves. Can you just float on the waves and know that you are supported by the water underneath you, the water that you are? Dive deeper into that trust, into that knowing. You are here. You are here and it's okay. Yes, your humans are going through a lot of change right now, and it will take a little while still. But know that the waves are carrying you, and you are being carried on that surface. Call upon help if you need it. Call upon help when you need it. And feel the support that is here for you. Feel it, feel that you are carried, feel that you're supported. Imagine yourself being on a beautiful body of water and feeling the waves underneath you, and you are floating on your back, being fully supported, fully relaxed. The water is warm, and it's holding you up. And then look into the sky and see the beautiful blue colors of the sky. And you might even notice other colors of blue, other shades of blue that you haven't seen yet before. And start enjoying it and getting curious of how many shades of blue you can see. Still feeling the support underneath your body. And just feel what that feels like right now. The expansion, the relaxation, the iridescent waters, colors, rays. And if you need to, call upon the whales to carry you, call upon the dolphins to hold you up. And maybe you even want to start playing with them. Bringing in some playfulness. Playing with the dolphins, swimming with the dolphins, enjoying Maybe you can try and surf a wave even. Just feel what that feels like right now in your body. Feel the expansion and take a deep breath in as if breathing in from your heart. And just feel it in your body right now. And as I'm breathing out, breathe out that calm, that joy, that expansion, that excitement, whatever it is for you. Breathe it out into your field around you and create a beautiful, beautiful sphere of light around you. And let's seal that with golden light. And letting only the highest light into your field. And letting it grow. And as you do that, you start getting aware slowly with your eyes closed of the room you're in. While you're still feeling that joy and expansion and peace and calm in your body, in every cell of your body, and allowing it to vibrate at that frequency. And feel what that feels like. And getting aware of the support underneath your body. Taking one more deep breath in through your heart space all the way into your belly. And breathing out. And then whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. Thank you. So you can slowly come back if you haven't yet. And just allowing your body to acclimate, to embody, to integrate that. Maybe you need to yawn or you need to stretch, and just give yourself that time. And then always drink a little bit of water after these activations, after any energy work. Just drink a little bit of high frequency water. You can just bless your water before, that will help it already. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I was so hot during that process. As soon as you started, oh my goodness, I'm like, I am burning up. It's like, it was so hot. And it's just being in the ocean, being on the wave, playing with the dolphins, being with the whales. It was just so, for me, it was like home. It felt like home, you know. It's relaxing, yes, but also it's not energizing per se, but I was like in the flow and calm. It was beautiful. Yeah, like Linda said, that was wonderful. Yeah, it brings you back home, you know, to your heart.
Yes.
Destiny says, yes, great. Thank you, Cindy. So that was beautiful. Thank you. Karen says, thanks very much. That was beautiful and needed. It felt like home to me too. Oh, awesome. Good. So you know what I mean? Carolyn says, thank you, Natasha and Laura. It was a wonderful call and meditation. Awesome. Good.
Yeah, thank
Glad
you.
you enjoyed it.
Yeah, there was a lot of
thank you, Linda.
Yeah, thank you. Bye, Linda. There was a lot of exactly what you said, like also heart opening was there. There was like many layers going on. It was so beautiful also for me. And I felt really hot too. Like I felt it all.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh my goodness. But then it shifted, right? So then the heat shifted and I was just home, you know. So Anita says it was beautiful, made me sleepy.
Yeah.
I feel relaxed, chill. Dama says, thank you. That was beautiful. Good. And then of course, you know, you can always go back and watch or listen and do that again. Go through that whole process again, right? Because it'll be on YouTube and the podcast in a little while. So you can always go do that again to help you, to remind you to be in the flow, right?
Yes, and you can listen to it as many times as you wish. Just follow your guidance. It could be that you feel like, oops, now it's enough, I need to integrate. So give yourself that break. Just follow your guidance.
Yeah, and it's always about following your guidance and trusting the guidance that you get when it's coming from the heart, right? So at the beginning we moved from the head to the heart, right? And so that's something that a lot of us need to, I'm going to use that word need, I don't always, but need to do, because we are in our head so much, and it's a habit. It's the way we're wired in a way, but it's more of a habit. We're so used to being in our head, but we need to consciously bring our consciousness down from the head to the heart.
Yeah.
So, it's really, it's key. It's important. There's a time and place for being in the head, absolutely, but more time in the heart for sure. So yeah, thank you. Okay, wow. Any other last words of wisdom, Natasha? Did the dolphins or the whales have any other message for us as we go today?
Let me tune in for a moment. Oh yeah, they're just showing it. Just continue your path. It's like your wayshowers. You are here, and just continue on your path. You're okay. You're great. It's like they're really encouraging us to know, also to appreciate what we're doing and how we're showing up for ourselves and for the world, and just to keep going, to trust that it's okay. And just as you said, Alara, like as long as it's from the heart, it's leading you. Of course, we're making wise decisions, but the heart is the leading.
Let your heart lead you, and let your mind, work for you, work for the heart, but let your heart lead you for sure.
So they just want to share that encouragement that we continue on our path, and don't, hold the vision of where you're going, and it's okay, not into doing, but like just to let us know that we're on the path and to keep going. They're showing me like this, the whales have this amazing system of how they can navigate. So humpback whales, they don't go, like no ship in the world can keep the course like a whale, like a humpback whale, for instance. And so they're showing me that exact, like you, and they're also like that guidance and just following that heart. Yeah. And it's not linear. And they're reminding us that our lives are not linear, and healing isn't linear. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, wow. And so, drink lots of water, like we just talked about, right? But just, being in that water, being in that energy with the dolphins and the whales and the ocean and the sky, all of that, you can take that energy, that feeling that you had in that, in this process with you, right? And you can have that, be that stillness, be that peace, be that calm at any time, but just remembering that moment of being with the whales and dolphins in the ocean. I actually was surfing, and at the beginning I was like shaky, but then I became really good and confident, and it's like it was good.
Oh yeah, that was so great that you're sharing that, because in the beginning I said like a surfers and the whales, and then it came in like and they started changing course into, okay, let's have them relax first. It felt like, it was really what was like, it showed, no, let's relax first. And they led me into that relaxation, and they started channeling a bit. And then sometimes they would show me, so I would speak. So it was a mix of both.
Yeah.
And then in the end, they brought in the dolphins and the surfing and the play and the joy. So when people were ready. Yeah.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
No, it was
So
powerful. Sarah says, I was told to be in water at least up to my neck once a week. Awesome.
Yeah.
Good. And I think it's important to immerse ourselves in the water, be in the water, and just the best we can.
Maybe we have to set up another talk about that, because water is just, it's unbelievable. And we are water. We are, by molecular count, we're over 95% water.
Yeah. So, there's something to that for sure. But yeah, we'll definitely have to do another call just about being in water and the magic of water and all that wonderful stuff. Even though, like, yes, we know about the experiments. Yes, but there's more to that than just those experiments that Emota did. There's much, much more.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And of course, if you'd like to work with Natasha more, you can work with her in the special offer package, a 60-minute one-on-one session plus the 2 bonuses. So please do take advantage of those as well. And yeah, this was wonderful, Natasha. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you were able to be here with us, and we'll definitely have to have you come back on again to do more activations, talk more about the dolphins and the whales, and also like we talked about the importance of water and being in water and the properties of water, because you talked about 76 or something different properties of water, and I was like, oh, let's find out. I thought it was just H2O.
It's not even H2O, but we'll talk about that another time.
We'll talk about that at another time. Wonderful.
Thank you so much for having me, Alara. It was beautiful. I love your community, and yeah, I'm looking forward to next time.
Me too. Thank you. And thank you everybody for all your questions, comments, and feedback in the chat. I think I missed a few questions in the chat, but next time. So yeah, Sarah says, I hope your travels with your son are marvelous. I know you're going soon in a few days. So
yes, on Monday. We're leaving on Monday. Yeah.
Gosh. Yeah, good luck. All the best. Yeah, not good luck in a
Thank
sarcastic way, but good luck and all the best, because you know, for
everybody.
everything that happens. Yeah. All right, everyone. Much love and blessing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Until next time, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health. See you all tomorrow. Much love and blessings. Bye for now.